Hey guys, welcome back to Umineko. Father, I know you can hear me. Please respond. The door to Kinzo's study was being violently, harshly beaten against over and over again like a percussion instrument. The yelling comes from the other side, belonged to Cross, Rudolph, and sometimes Eva. It was the siblings who were trying to intrude upon Kinzo's study to question him about the truth behind that mysterious letter. Kinzo was eating. An elegant tablecloth was set over the desk, and I guess it's supposed to be fabulous dinner that had abandoned the table down in the dining hall was reproduced here. Kinzo continued his meal in silence. Shannon tucking away an empty plate, looked uncomfortably between the door and being pounded on in Kinzo's face. Anyone is calling for you, but what should I do? Leave him. God and my meals both hold silence as a virtue. Should I silence them? There's no need. It does not even reach my ears. Genzo enjoyed his food, apparently indifferent. Genji quietly lowered his head and took a single step back. As he did, Ken, who stood in reserve like a shadow behind to the side of Genji, opened his mouth. Mariah's son apparently received a letter from Beatrice Summer, so I imagine they want to test his authenticity. Has she started already then? Come, Beatrice, I have no shortage of coins to be wagged. Shall we enjoy the stuff to the fullest? I don't think I'll lose. Your spell will be mine for all eternity. If I could see it one more time, I wouldn't regret losing my wealth, my honor, or even my life. Well, the roulette has begin to spin. Which pocket will the ball fall into? Nor, Rogue, or the house takes all? Come, you may begin, Beatrice. I'll show you the power of miracles once more. The strange letter that the witch had entrusted to Maria wiped all memories of dinners from our minds. Maria was repeatedly barraged with questions by Ambrose and other parents. It made me increasingly ill-tempered when they refused to believe her. If we kids tried to butt it, they'd probably ignore us. Our parents were all stirred up, firing back and forth about the gold and distribution of the assets, and completely forgetting we were even there. I'd already guessed they'd been talking like this in the shadows, but I hadn't thought they'd be so blunt. It gave us all kids a considerable shock. From what we could overhear, all the parents wanted more money as soon as possible. Back and forth about grandfather's inheritance. Back and forth about the distribution of the gold if it was found. About advance payments of cash. It was so despicable I could hardly bear to watch, even though one of them was my father. It looked like Jessica felt the same way. We left our seats without being asked to and went to hang out somewhere well away from our parents. I get it now. I totally see why grandfather hates coming down for meals. I was so disillusioned with our parents right now. All that about money, the inheritance. How could they act like that right in the open? I'm already completely disillusioned with my old bastard. There's no way I could think any worse of him. Hee. That's exactly the same for me. Still, that freaking shocked me to the core. Jessica looked down at the floor, irritated. She was always thinking about how bad her parents were, but maybe she hadn't really felt that way deep inside. The depths of Jessica's shock made that clear. You're all minors being supported by your parents, so you might not understand, but getting money is neither a simple nor a pretty thing. I won't try to force you to understand right now, but it's just still kids. But even so, I want you to realize that your parents are just doing their best in their own way. Oh, great, George and he's gotten all mature. George and I know you're working as hard as a full-fledged member of society, but does that mean you've turned into a shameless goody vulture like our parents whenever you started talking about money and assets? If it were only for my own benefit, then no, I wouldn't want to do that. However, when your family and your employees, your subordinates, and their families are all counting on you, there are some times that you must fight. I hate that kind of fight. That back and forth about grandfather's inheritance just makes me want to puke. Just get pretending to spit violently. That harsh reaction made the depths of the pain very clear. Let's stop talking about this. All of this about grandfather's gold, hidden gold, property inheritance is our parents' problem, not ours. I agree. At the very least, I think children have a duty to consider to say their parents' way they were talking together. Sounds pretty boring. Everyone knows the phrase, adults are filthy, but we had not seen that for ourselves. And then they did give us a considerable shock. George Inge was now pretty much an adult, and I've already been disillusioned with my dad, so the shock wasn't that big for us. But Jessica seemed to be taking it hard. Apparently she received a bigger blow than I thought. She'd always talk about her parents, but it didn't look like she hadn't changed at all on the inside. Even though she's still a pure-hearted, delicate person who can't doubt others, I'm sure she respected her parents as much as anyone else does. And her parents started bitching about going money, inheritance for money, from other parents and the children. So surprised she received such a shock from hearing that. Just good job, please don't start hating your mother and father. I won't ask her to understand that, but at least don't hate them. I get it, just leave me alone for a bit. 6 years ago, I would have kept talking to Jessica even after she got all dejected. But I guess I really have grown over the last 6 years. I realize it'd be better to leave Jessica alone right now. Jessica suddenly looked away sulkily and left the parlor. She probably wanted to be alone for a while. I could do nothing but wordlessly watch her back as she left. Come to think of it, I wonder where Mariah went. She's probably pouting from the portrait. Mariah truly looked up to the witch as she expected that coming in direct contact with Beatrice and receiving the letter as proof would surprise everyone and make them happy. However, the adults doubted its authenticity, thoroughly bombarding Mariah with questions and refusing to accept her story. Even for me, it was hard to imagine how much that must have hurt Mariah. We couldn't speak to Mariah or Jessica. In the end, George and Kate and I just abandoned ourselves to the sound of falling rain in a dark night. When it was happening with the typhoon, maybe this was about it on the news. George and Kate started walking over to the corner of the parlor where the television was. He then called over me, and I really couldn't have cared less where the typhoon was on the sea now. So, without going over to the television, I lowered it around the window. The wind hasn't picked up that much here, but I wonder if it's horrible over the sea. I did hear about a severe storm warning on the weather report. Kyrie's sounding to get the big talks between adults are going smoothly, yeah? She seemed to catch the sarcasm. Kyrie's son shrugged. I wonder if that stomach-aching discussion will continue all night. Is that going to be fun? Well then, please enjoy playing vultures to grandfather's property as much as you like. I feel sick. I agree with you on that. If I could just slip away like you, I'd do it. Unfortunately, I can't. Even if I'm not allowed to speak, so we spouses have it pretty rough too. Carrie's son took a deep breath, smiling bitterly. That's right. If I won't let Carrie speak since she's only married into the family. Still, as Dad's partner, she had no choice but to stay by his side and support him. She's probably had to bear the full brunt of this mental pressure which she wanted me. I wasn't going to apologize, but realizing that I had spoken too harshly, I cut the sarcasm for the time being. So how does it look? Are they still stuck on the topic of the mysterious witch of Beatrice? More or less, those four siblings are always plotting secret agreements where they come together to discuss the division of grandfather's inheritance. They're saying that some unknown fifth person has appeared and is trying to make things even more complicated. And there's no way they'll make for a peaceful conversation. Just when you think they're swirling at each other, they'll set up a common front. Natsuhi and Nisa are the only one getting headaches. On the one hand, they all want a larger portion than the other siblings, so they're all rivals. But on the other hand, they don't want one yen to be snatched up by anyone other than siblings, so they're all allies, whatever. I haven't been told the details of the siblings, but apparently discussing how to protect their shares under various situations. Setting up ceasefire agreements and rules to prevent anyone from gaining an unfair advantage, even preparing to exert the legal action absolutely necessary. That they would go this far to preserve their shares is so beyond disgusting that you just had to acknowledge your resilience. So basically, Beatrice is like an assassin, said my grandfather, who probably wanted to scare the hell out of his children. We're talking about the inheritance without him. Who is Miss Beatrice? I wonder if everything she claims is true. She's a mysterious figure that no one knew about till today, and she also knows about grandfather's hidden gold. On top of that, she was even entrusted the head's ring. She must be truly have been trusted by him. Well, obviously, I don't think she's a witch riding around on a broom. There's no doubt she's a mysterious person who's earned the right to be called a witch. If only Mariah would go into more detail about that, everyone's been smothering her, even though she's a little girl. They really scared her. Some days about how even have asked now can't be asked. I wonder if those people have ever even read The North Wind and the Sun. What we do know is that Mariah received a letter from a person who took the name Beatrice. She sure is shy for a mysterious person, trusting Mariah with the letter and hiding away even now, when she could have just appeared and talked to us directly. Hey, Battler Khan, do you really think a person called Beatrice actually exists? Who knows? Does it really seem like a false name? Like she's grandfather's representative, so she was given permission to take the name of the witch from his delusions. No, that's not what I meant. Right now, there's a total of 18 people here on Nokishima. Do you think there's a 19th person? Are there really 40 people in this island right now? I'm worried about that. I began counting my figures. It really did come out to that many. When I think that 90 people exist, what exactly do you mean? Which is what I said. The person who lent Mariah that umbrella supposedly wasn't one of us 18. So is it their natural assume that 90% exists and that the person lent Mariah the umbrella? Well, yeah, it sure looks that way. And then where exactly is this person now? At the very least, she was been on the island when it started raining. And ever since that time, the weather has grown progressively worse, so taking a boat out would be pretty much impossible. In that case, that person would still be on the island, hiding from the rain somewhere, and without any of us spotting her. True, we've all been randomly prowling around all over the mansion and the guest house, but no one has bumped into a nothing person. But this island is huge. There might be other places to take shelter from the rain other than the mansion and guest house. At about this time, I began to realize what direction Kyrie said suspicious were taking us in. Kyrie said was the 999 existed. Beatrice was out of us 18. In other words, she thought someone we knew well was tricking us. And Beatrice, who she claims she would surely be the most honored of guests. Most honored of confidence, trusted by grandfather. There's no way grandfather would have given that kind of person a warm reception. She was surely happy and ushered into the mansion. However, we haven't seen anyone like that. Wait a second, isn't this alone obviously a bit too hasty? Sure, no one has spotted this person, but that doesn't mean that you can't deny the possibility that a 90th person exists, right? Maybe for some reason they landed on the island stealthily and have been hiding ever since. It's what they call a devil's proof. It's easy to prove that it exists. If this Beatrice person appears in front of us all and says hide and settle, but it's possible to prove that there's no 19th person. Yes, by look on your way, everything is a bad. In our current situation, there isn't enough information to either accept or deny that a 19th person exists. But if you spin a chessboard around, I think that way we can deny the existence of a 19th person with near certainty. Spinning the chessboard around was one of Kyrie's favorite phrases. I've been influenced by those words and use them myself from time to time. When you get stuck trying to find a move in a chess or shogi, you might spin around the board around and looking at everything from the opponent's standpoint, you can often see a strategy that'll give you the upper hand. I mean, it's turning things around and putting yourself in your opponent's shoes. You see, let's say that not supposed to call Beatrice actually exists. That person must have managed without being seen by anyone to stealthily arrive on the island and remain hidden ever since. Maybe they had some reason, okay? In that case, why did they go to all the trouble of appearing before Mariah and handling her the letter? It really was a contradiction. If they had some reason for hiding themselves, then they should have stayed hidden the whole time. But even so, they appeared only opening in front of Mariah. And then, when Mariah said herself, she said the witch made her a messenger. I mean, that's because Mariah was the youngest and looked the most obedient. Why would they need a messenger? If they just wanted a letter delivered to the family's conference, they could have mailed it. And they mailed it to each of his 4 siblings. No one would have been able to ignore it. There was no need for this person to carry themselves and secretly deliver it by hand. Yeah, it's not pretty weird. In the first place, the Beatrice existed and wanted to make her presence known to anyone. Well, she could have just openly presented herself to all of us. Despite that, she chose the fake method of appearing to a little girl called Mariah Chen and only gave us a vague impression of who she was. Contradiction. Let's go a little deeper, shall we? She appeared in front of Mariah Chen and gave us the impression that nothing existed, and yet she still has appeared before us and is hiding somewhere at this very moment. Think about those contradictions. You've got to keep these things around in mind when you spin the chessboard around. And so a person wants to leave us with the impression that Beatrice exists as a 19th person, whom what might their big goal be? It's supposed to wanted to hide and they wouldn't have made their presence known. And if they wanted to show themselves, they wouldn't have used a roundabout approach, which is trusting someone with a letter. Which means, it's simple, Beatrice is one of the 18 people. That's why they was to create the illusion that there are more than 18 people. The 19th birthday was revealed so spectacularly. If someone were to profit from this, it wouldn't be the some 19th person hiding and be one of the original 19 people. Of course, this reasoning is full of holes. If you turn over even a few of its premises, it simply fall apart, but I'm almost completely certain it's correct. This is starting to feel pretty creepy. Some of them, Mariah and Umbrella, handed her the letter. Suppose they know the 18 did this, and yet Beatrice was hidden among those 18. What was this person playing, hiding their true form and pretending to be Beatrice? I suspect it might have been Mariah Chan playing, acting, but the contents of the message were extremely complicated, and it's hard to imagine Mariah Chan writing that herself. However, I can't deny the possibility that Mariah is working together with someone. Wait a second, Mariah is a 9-year-old kid, right? What could she possibly be playing with to whom? And what about her straightforward, overly honest, obedient nature? Yes, I was understood kind of person Mariah Jane is, but that's exactly why I think it's impossible. That girl's a dreamer who can't help but look up to the blindly accept the existence of witches. So if a person appeared forever claimed to be a witch, that witch Beatrice, Mariah would happily swallow it up, I think. So you say that someone disguised themselves by wearing that fancy dress with that portrait. Tricking Mariah wouldn't be that hard. Of course, with everything, none of us women would become the primary suspects. Anyway, who did Mariah Jane encounter? And learning the details of that question would be the best key to solving this riddle. This key being firmly locked away inside Mariah Jane's heart, everyone denied the existence of the witch without letting her listen to her barraging her too much with questions about who Beatrice actually was. She probably won't open her heart to the adults now. In the dim hall in front of the portrait of Beatrice, Mariah was sobbing. Ew, no one believes I meant Beatrice. Ew. Even though I showed them the letter Beatrice gave, they still don't believe. Hick. Anyway, Mariah is holding the key. The key to whether Beatrice is only 19 people or 19th person. Mariah's stubborn, right? When that girl gets angry, it's pretty hard to make her feel better. But look, I think a kid like you would be better treat her up than an adult like me after she's feeling better. Try asking. I know you don't care about all this back and forth about the inheritance. But don't you find this was very much a mysterious situation and exciting? Who in the world is this person who gave Mariah Jane the letter? It makes your intellectual curiosity ache. You're actually pretty tough considering you're still excited about being dragged to the endless money talk. It also could be pretty amazing. I shrugged expatriately, but I did notice something. Kyrie noticed how dejected I was with her overhearing our parents' turbulent discussion, and we was probably trying to clear the air. At the very least, I recovered and had to voice my complaints. She wasn't my real mother, so I never felt like calling her mom, but it did make me think she's a real adult. Hey, bruh, so this is where you were. Kyrie, you really took your time fixing your makeup, didn't you? Think I make a habit of going to touch up my makeup, too. I'm sorry, women's makeup takes a long time. So how was it to such a being without me? So, I'm pretty sure it was all peaceful and harmonious. Kyrie said it poked a weak spot under my arm with her elbow. We decided to take a break to cool our heads a little. It looks like we'll be at it all night. Makes me want to cry. His way of talking hadn't changed, but he couldn't completely hide his fatigue. I could say it was pathetic, but he looked faithful compared to his normal energetic self. Still, that rain's just awful. I really don't want to go back to the guest house. Looks like Natsuhi and Nissan have things that we could spend the night here in the mansion. Well, we do. We won't need to decide until you're done, alright? If you run so long, energy they came and turned to our room, then we could take them up on their offer. You're right. We could think about it later. What about you, Battler? If I stayed, I'd just get in the way. I'll be nice and go back over there. I see. Will you go back soon? I don't know. It'd be lonely to head back myself. I'll gather all the kids and we'll head out. Okay, you go do that. Also, Battler, you won't be going to sleep that easily tonight, right? Yeah, I'll probably be talking with the cousins. So it's like we'll be up all night. Is there a problem with that? I see. If you're still awake when the adults discussion is over, I want to have a little talk as family. And what? Does it sound like you? Apparently, Kyrie sounds like the same thing. What are you talking about? She asked him in a small voice. It looked like Kyrie sounded didn't have a clue what that meant either. I also want to talk to you about it, Kyrie. I'll tell you later, so don't ask now, please. I don't know anyone who neglects the concept of family as much as this old bastard. I know he's saying we're going to have a talk as a family, but both Kyrie and I couldn't help but get wide-eyed. Don't look so terrified. I'm the one who should be terrified. At that point, he swallowed his words for an instant, even though put on in areas of importance wasn't much like my dad. You're freaking me out, Dad. Anyone in our family's gathered here now, right? Don't make a big deal out of it. Spit it out. Tonight, I will probably be killed. There was a huge crash of thunder. It must have been really close. Dad's expression brightly illuminated by the lightning was burned into my eyes. Dad's face, which always looked so sure of itself, which always wore a taunting expression, was strangely frail in a way I couldn't really explain. It was so worn out that he looked like a different person. What? What are you talking about? That doesn't sound like you. I agree. What happened? You look so timid all of a sudden. It's not like you. I'm gonna go fix my makeup too. Don't follow me. Dad turned away weakly. After that, only Kyrie and I were left still wide-eyed. What did he say? Tonight he'll be killed. You don't think that Mr. Slater scared him, do you? He's been watching too many serial murder movies. Kyrie didn't answer. My lighthearted words continued to stare my dad's staring back. But look out, when he told Rudolph to spill the beans right away, he lived without telling us anything. You know, he said he was to do both of us, and he didn't answer you. Why? Spreading this chessboard around. What did you see? Well, when he said he wanted to talk about it, then couldn't. That's a contradiction. What can he see? By looking from Dad's perspective. Yes, I could see something. He wants to talk about something. However, he doesn't have the courage to bring it up, so he actually means chase after me, talk to me, and ask me about it yourself. By saying not follow me, he actually means the opposite. He actually means follow me and force me the answer. Seriously, what a spoiled brat. What? Can you really call that reasoning? That's ridiculous. Okay, we're great, and the police that take us to do some emotions feelings between men and women. They can, right? Figuring out the feelings of the opposite sex is even more advanced art than exposing the tricks of difficult crime cases. If you ask me, romance novels have much deeper mysteries than mystery novels. I see, this is how it is. I'll stand alongside that spoiled brat. He normally loves to bluff, but tonight he's completely tired out from the heated discussion. He probably wants someone to lean on in the moment. And responding to that need is the role of his partner. So passionate. Then I'll leave that old bastard in your hands. Yes, leave it to me. I call that to Kyrie's son instead of partying back. Huh? What? I want to say thanks. Thanks to you, my gloomy mood has cleared up a lot. That's good. Communication is important. After the incident with the wing, Kyrie's son followed after Dad. Natsuhi could be found in a dimly lit hallway. Now and then a thunder would crash, but this had no effect on Natsuhi's expression. She looked completely worn out. The discussion that had just taken place between the relatives in her dining hall was repeating itself inside Natsuhi's mind. The Beatrice had proclaimed that in addition to the gold of all the inheritance and property of the Uchiha family would be given to the person who would solve the riddle. In other words, she planned to undermine the absolute guarantee that Cross, as the oldest brother, had to succeed the family head. Originally, the other siblings had no chance to inherit the headship, so that this proposal by Beatrice was extremely desirable. It was obvious that they would accept it. There was no need to play some clumsy detective game. Natsuhi knew that this so-called 19th person, Beatrice, couldn't exist. Naturally, Beatrice was nothing more than a fictional character used to pass a message that Kenzo had written himself. As proof, Kenzo had remained stubbornly neutral as to the letter's authenticity. He was completely ignoring those reckless claims that he shouldn't be able to ignore that he had given up the head's ring. In short, Kenzo had worsley admitted that the letter held his own message. Most likely, when the servants had given Mariah the letter, Kenzo had probably worked out an elaborate plan where the dress and the portrait would be prepared, and someone, probably Shannon, would be made to wear it and deliver the letter and the umbrella. By doing that, he would make it seem like the wish from the portrait actually existed. No, if anything, that alone was proof that Kenzo was behind all this. In that case, it was statements Kenzo trying to butt in on the siblings' private discussion. And Kenzo, by announcing that he actually gave everything the person who solved the riddle could be weakened, crosses over a moment of advantage. Now this was certain. Kenzo had eavesdropped on the siblings' discussion in the parlor earlier that day, so he knew that Cross stayed off the attack by the other three. And to make the skills of the battle go back into balance, he had sent out this strange letter which benefited Cross's rivals. He was trying to push his crazy theories so that Rosa, who had a weak position among the siblings because of her age, would join Eva and Rudolph. Then, with a 3-1 advantage, they'd be able to overwhelm Cross yet again and make their ridiculous theories get accepted by force. By doing that, he gave them the power to resettle what had once been nearly a day-sided conflict. They had now started repeatedly pressing Cross to pay them a large amount of money. Using the condition that other siblings would guarantee Cross's position as a successor, talk about Vane's payments was being brought up again, despite having been rejected once. Of course, even without the theory about the hidden gold, the Uchiha family store of wealth was vast. That store of wealth was alone more than enough. Even if the hidden gold was buried forever along with Kenzo's death, there would be more than enough to satisfy. Therefore, even if they weren't interested in the gold itself, Kenzo had managed to instill the lifelong fear that on the off chance that someone found the gold, that person would be granted the headship. And this guy on Achilles' heel would definitely be taking advantage of someone sooner or later. The only person who has this fatal weakness was his successor, Cross. The other siblings had found, although they had been told by Kenzo about something that only Cross could lose, and they had thoroughly taken advantage of that. Natsuki has Cross's only ally in his painful position, and as his wife wanted to fight alongside him, she kept trying to explain to him that the existence of the gold itself was a farce, and there was no need for him to compromise. Cross had always told Natsuki, he told him, all his siblings. He always said that the kid in gold was nothing more than an illusion created by Kenzo. Therefore, Natsuki had believed it was as his wife had supported her husband on that foundation. Even so, Natsuki's worst enemy reached Cross. Even though Natsuki had fought so hard and had linked all of her strength, he continued to fight by himself and was trying to compromise with the other three siblings. Natsuki sat and weakly wondered why she could not be of use to him. They started getting angry. It had happened with everyone decided to chirp right to their cruel heads. Natsuki had flared up against Cross. Enraged, she had asked her why she could not be useful to him. He had then told her that he wanted to talk about something and invited her into a room that she was normally not allowed to enter. That room had been sealed with a heavy-looking padlock, and just looking at it gave her an uncomfortable feeling. There was no need for you to worry about anything said by those three, or even the suspicious person who called herself Beatrice. After all, the gold is just a ruse created by Father. There's no way something like that could be found. Your position as a successor is a solid fact. What are you afraid of? Cross removed the padlock on the door. He then motioned for Natsuki to enter. Enter. What is this? There's something I know what you see. I never showed you this before. Natsuki timidly opened the door with a dubious expression on her face. It was pitch black. She searched for a switch to turn on the lights, but since this was her first time in the room, she didn't know where it was. Cross entered behind her, pushing her in, and when he closed the door before turning on the lights, the two were swallowed up by the darkness. You only saw no Cross lock at the door running out of the dark. What are you doing? The lights. I'm turning them on now. Wait. Just as he said, when Cross pressed the switch on the wall, a flickering light turned on and lit up the room. That is a super breathtaking way. We made no windows, and at a glance it appeared to be empty. In the middle of the room, a small round table had been set, and it lights brightly, brightened only that table as if it were playing. It was a leading part in the play. On top of the table, a red tablecloth of elaborate design had been set out, covered with dust. And on top of that, something about the size of a grown man's arm had been set down. That's what had taken Natsuki's breath away. It's a gold ingot of incredible purity. Without this, no one had believed in the legend of the gold. It was an ingot of solid gold, even in the faint light sparkled with a noble and dignified glint. This is not a proper ingot. I don't even know whether it was cast inside or outside the country. It took a high-level skill to make the purest of solid gold ingots, and in order to verify that purity, it was standing to having the original found and name of the bank that guaranteed it imprinted on the gold. However, this ingot did not have that kind of seal. This mysterious gold bar come from an unknown foundry. Look here. There's nothing to be afraid of. It's just a bar of gold. Natsuki, falling across its words, timidly approached the ingot. Right there, Cross pointing to the surface of the ingot. Natsuki concentrated on that section. Right there was that thin imprint of the one-weed eagle crest. Natsuki's breath was taken away once again. That's right, this is the legendary ingot that Father said he received of the witch that the president and Marusa witnessed and was allowed to select at random to take back with them. I gained the trust of the fixers of the business world. I had to use all the possible means to find it. I found it before the other siblings could. How could, then? The legend of Father's gold is. It actually exists. The gold that Ushiro and Mia Kenzo received of Beatrice actually exists. Possible, so it really does exist. And that's why he was just shocked. Cross had always said that Kenzo's gold was just a fabrication, so she believed it as his wife. However, the reality was different, since she had definitely proved that he had been more certain than any of the other siblings that the legend of the cruel was true. Because of this, Cross was deeply frightened at the possibility that someone other than himself found the gold he failed to find, costing him everything. When Natsuki, this trust was more than enough to split open her heart. She had thought that Cross's wife she should be closest confidant in, which is why she had selfishly supported him. And yet he had hid this fact from her until today. Why? Have I been so undeserving of your trust? That's never been my intention. There was simply no need to tell you. Is that all your wet means to you? Calm down. Becoming passionate easily is one of your bad habits. You're the one who's making me like that, aren't you? I've been supporting you as a wife ever since I married you into this family. For your sake, I threw away the family I was born into, and I've been offering up my heart and my body to serve you, and in return, this is what I get? How could you? Grass was looking annoyed. His expression effectively communicated with how much he disliked his partner Natsuhi, even if he didn't say it out loud. It doesn't look like I'll be any use to you anymore. That's fine. I can resolve the troubles with the siblings by myself. I don't need your help. That's wrong. This is you sure I'm your family's problem. It's true that I'm not permitted to wear the family crest on my body, but I'm still your wife. Even so, you say I'm not capable of helping you? Are you? I especially when I want to risk getting you involved. It'll probably make your headaches even worse than they are now. Take a rest for today. The siblings will deal with the siblings' problems. As they deal with you, this is all. A dull headache tormented Natsuhi. No matter what innocence she took, no matter what sins she burned, it wouldn't heal. In fact, simply wandering along the dark corridors, listening to sound rings seemed to be a better cure. I may be Natsuhi, but I was never Ushiromi or Natsuhi. I'm in despised and treated as a borrowed womb and insulted when I couldn't even fill that role. Even so, I have tried properly before my duties as a wife, but even now my husband has rejected me. I've done my best raising my daughter as if it was the last job left at me. However, I have no release of my anger and sadness, and it caused me to subconsciously strain that relationship too. Because I've been excessively strict at Jessica's education, she dislikes me thoroughly. She despises me for having no interest in anything but grades. There's no longer anything I can do for the Ushiromi family. No, it's no good. Despite it all, I must help my husband and beat back the schemes of the other greedy siblings. The family hand won't be around much longer. Eventually, Cross will succeed the head, and the next successor will be Jessica. Strictly speaking, the man who enters the family by marrying Jessica will be the next head. But it all comes to the same thing. I have to make Jessica an excellent successor whom everyone will accept as worthy to take over the Ushiromi family. In days to come, the greedy Ushiromi Eva will probably be plotting to find some fault with the main family. And if all goes as she plans, Jessica will be dragged down from the succession with George stood up in her place. It is regrettable, but George is a man and even more as mature as a person. Compared to Jessica, who is right in the middle of her rebellious period and whose grades are slightly below average, it can be seen that Glenn is more fit to succeed the head. So in order to secure Jessica's position, I need to turn her into an excellent person. After doing that, I want to find her an excellent husband worthy of the excellent person she will have become. A wonderful man who will truly accept Jessica and stay with all life's joys and sorrows. Was Natsuhi trying to entrust her daughter with fulfilling some desire of her own? Natsuhi thought back to the days when she had no choice but to marry to the Ushiromi family because of the unavoidable fate. She tried to block that from her memory. She had consciously forgotten it and had activated into the life she had been given as Ushiromi Natsuhi. In soon doing so, she had built up a new life, but just now, it felt like that was a sentence she casually rejected. How could she think I lived my life? I did not know. Natsuhi helplessly rested as her head against the glass of the window. The glass, which was cool thanks to the raindrops beating against it, felt somehow refreshing, even though it should have been emotionless. Her thing seemed to be the only thing I could understand Natsuhi. At this point, even if someone had appeared, Natsuhi didn't intend to pay any attention to them. Pay, not pray, okay. But she did pay attention because it was her beloved daughter. Oh, it's you, Mom. What the heck are you doing in a place like this? Thought you were a ghost. Just like always, her words were rough and not at all like a girl's. Instinctively, words of rebuke rose to Natsuhi's throat. However, their stress gave out and they didn't escape her lips. Jessica, forgive me, but my headache is awful. Please leave me be. I say. Jessica was saying her mother in a position of feebleness for the first time, so she was considerably disconcerted. That was just now she had been filled with contempt for all the parents, including her mother. By now, those feelings had been completely swept away. Her mother's utterly exhausted face had wiped them all out. And in this place, the word George had been folded back to her mind. Our parents are doing their best in their own way, and because their families are counting on them, they can afford to keep everything pleasant and have a heavy responsibility to fight. Maybe her mother had always been standing around the dim and lit hallway because no one had tried to understand that in her. Jessica hated this mother, so she had no intention of speaking kindly to Natsuhi just because she was looking a bit frail. So when she attempted to speak kindly to her mother anyway, she had to clutch her face and gather up the words from deep in her heart. It sounds like you really got your hands full with that meeting thing. And it's nothing to do with you. Please go somewhere else. Is your headache bad? Should I go get some medicine? You don't have to trouble yourself. Please leave me alone. Natsui wasn't being cold. She just wanted her daughter to go far away so that she wouldn't have to bump against Natsui's own short temper. But there was no chance that Jessica would realize this. Okay, Jessica hung her head, looking sad. Oops, I didn't mean to hit my mic. Seeing that expression, Natsui recognized the kindness that Jessica was trying to muster. She gave her head a small shake to drive her away on her own kind of feelings. Then I'll leave. I'll be with the other cousins so I don't get in the way of the adults. See you later. Wait there. She called Jessica was trying to leave. Lonely to a stop. What? Thank you for being so considerate. It isn't good of me to go to sleep and leave you alone. Don't talk like that. You'll bring bad luck. I made you worried, but I'm okay now. I will go. Don't let my daughter see me as feeble any longer. I'll only make her feel more uneasy. With that thought in mind, Natsui left Jessica with the words of gratitude and made it to depart. This time, Jessica called out to her mother's back. Natsui stopped to turn around and ask what business Jessica had with her. But Jessica herself didn't know as she stopped to her mother, and for a while she smiled wryly, muttering to herself as she hesitated over what to say. She was poking around in her pocket, even her hand touched it, and she took it out. Hey Mom, I was given a charm today. Was it a charm against magic? Mother, I'm pretty sure you're supposed to hang it from the doorknob, I think. I forget, there's no point in me having it, so I'll let you take it. It was a scorpion charm that Mariah had given her on the beach. Although she heard its various effects of Mariah, Jessica's mind has gone blank, and she was just barely able to say even that much. Jessica, thinking that her mother probably wouldn't accept it anyway, immediately drew back the hand she stuck out, grasping the charm. So when she came back to take it, she was extremely shocked. What is this? Some kind of prize toy? Well, so I think it's something like that. I guess you wouldn't really expect a charm like this. It's a charm that looks like a toy to do anything. When the mother took the charm from her, she grasped it in her hand. Thank you. I'll take good care of it. Sometime soon in exchange, why don't I give you a charm that was important to me when I was a child? It's not like that's why I gave it to you. But, well, if you really say so. Now I'll rest for now. My headache is awful. Try not to stay up too late. Sure. Now Sue put the charm in her pocket and turned away. She then disappeared into the dark hall. It seems the weather will be likely to be like this all day tomorrow after all. Then this makes the good weather we had earlier feel like a lie. George indicated now we're killing time in front of the parlor television. At that point, Jessica returned. Her face was still blank, but it looked like she calmed down a little since we last seen her. Is Mariah still in front of the portrait? Nope. She just came back and she's sleeping over there on the sofa. It's getting pretty late for her after all. Looking at the clock, I saw a little past 10 p.m. And if we were planning to stay up all night, it was about time to head back to our room. Well, my mom did have a room prepared for us in the mansion. What will we do? I'd rather head back to the guest house. Going by what we saw from our parents, I think it'd be better if we went in the mansion. I agree. It feels like we're telling us kids to mind our own business to stay out of their way. They should be good little boys and girls to do that. As we were talking about this, Emerald came into the parlor. She's looking all over restlessly, probably trying to find Mariah. Emerald, if you're looking for Mariah, she's over there on the sofa. Thank you. She's out cold. We must move her to her bed. If you like, I'd carry her over to her bed. Thanks, that would be wonderful. Are you all heading back to the guest house, or are you going to stay in the room that Suhi and San have prepared here? We were just talking about that. We just decided to head back to the guest house. I see then, because I just asked you to take Mariah with you. I felt more reassured if she stays with all of you cousins. Beyond those words, she seemed to be concealing some regret that the adults herself included had deeply hurt Mariah's feelings. Leave it to us, Rosa. After all, we do have an expert at comforting Mariah with us. Are you talking about me? I couldn't do it myself. We'll need everyone together. That's right. Battler, weren't you just one who hit it off with Mariah when you were messing around earlier? As we said this, everyone was small, looking truly happily. Thank you, everyone. It looks like our meeting will last until very late, so I'm sorry to burden you like this. I'll be kind on all of you to take care of Mariah. Hey, Mariah, are you starting to sleep? We're going back to the guest house. Mariah murdered an indistinct, rolled over and fell back asleep. It looked like she was sleeping deeply. She's really out cold. I hate to wake her. Right, I'll carry her. Mariah's body was much lighter than it looked. I lifted her up and put her on George Iniki's back. It was raining hard outside, and Iniki couldn't hold an umbrella and carry more at the same time. It looked like Aunt Rosa would come with us as far as the guest house to help out. However, once she heard Uncle Cross's voice call out to her, she had no choice but to return. No, that's the problem. I have to go back now. As everyone returned to the guest house after we left the hall and the entrance to the door of the servant room open and Shannon-chan stepped out. It has gone very dark, so allow me to guide you. That would be great, Shannon-chan. George-kun is going to carry Mariah there. Could you hold an umbrella for him? Yes, certainly. Shannon-chan brought umbrellas for each of us, a flashlight to guide the way. As we opened the front door, the downpour was quite terrific. It looked like we weren't having any spare time to take a pleasant walk and enjoy the nighttime rose garden. And is she too heavy? Want me to carry her? It's okay. I can at least carry Mariah-chan. I'm truly grateful. Please take care of Mariah. Sure, you got it. And I guess it's a good night, Aunt Rosa. Then I will see them over there and return here. Yes, please. Aunt Rosa watched us leave. Mariah, I'm sorry for everything. Was that mumbling to reach the person in question, nor any of the kids would disappear beneath the sound of the rain. After cutting through the rainy rose garden, we arrived at the guest house. Only I applied for the position of Mariah Carrier. That would have gotten a chase of stranger as huge boobs rubbing all over my arm. That's not what I did. It's a misunderstanding. I thought that if I didn't walk like this, your stomach would get all wet. Come on, quit babbling and go in. After being urged, I'll just go. We folded up our umbrellas and went to the guest house. Has anyone gotten their clothes wet? I can bring some towels if you want. You don't need to worry about us that much. Thanks, Shannon-chan. That's right. We were planning to play cards or something. Would you get to join us for a bit? Huh? Who had a night shift on today's schedule? I believe we had a special schedule during the family conference. Also, I think a few alterations have been made, so I will go and check. Wait, if you have to go all the way back to the mansion to find out, don't force yourself. Oh, that's alright. I'm going to find out from the servant room in the guest house. Please excuse me for a short while. Shannon gave a quick bow and went to the guest house servant room. The rest of us headed for her cousin's room and decided to put Mariah to bed for some time being. Mariah was sleeping very deeply and there was absolutely no sign of her eyes opening. Well, now we get some soft drinks out of the room's refrigerator and drink those while playing cards or something. Oh, Kenan-kan, and you're here too, Genji-sama. What has happened with tonight's shift? Cross-sama has given an order. He made some sizable changes to the shift schedule. Indeed, Goda-san now has a night shift at the mansion. Shannon and Kenan had a night shift in the guest house. Kumasawa-san and I have been ordered to sleep in the guest house. Just a phone call came saying that once you arrived, you were also remain here for the second night. Huh? That certainly is a sizable change. The shifts at the guest house as mentioned have been completely reversed, haven't they? Originally, Shannon and Kenan have been assigned the night shift in the mansion, while the night shift in the guest house and where all the relatives were staying have been sent to Goda, who have an abundance of experience in entertaining. Kumasawa should have been sleeping at the guest house, while Genji should have been sleeping in the mansion. However, seeing that Cross has suddenly ordered the schedule be modified, the shift at the guest house and the mansion had all been reversed, and Genji was spending the night in the guest house. It's probably because of Beatrice-sama's letter, or why probably. As if there's such a mysterious letter appeared, it was only natural that Cross-sama would suspect one of us. We were served directly under Master, so Cross-sama tried as best as he could to keep us far away from the family conference. Genji, Shannon, and Kenan were all permitted to wear the Ishiramiya family crest, the one-winged eagle, as the servants who served directly under Kenzo. Of course, if they were working for the Ishiramiya family, they had to obey anyone's orders, but their only boss was Kenzo. So it's like Kenzo held the right to employ them, even Cross couldn't have them dismissed of his own accord. Because of this, Cross and the other servants thought them to these servants as Kenzo's underlings and shunned them. And in fact, Kenzo seldom let anyone other than them enter his study. This sudden shift change was probably clear, especially the sense of mistrust that it caused. Considering the time Kenzo had left to live, this would definitely be the last family conference before the problem of the inheritance came up. On top of that, the mysterious letter that claimed to be from Beatrice had dropped in out of the blue. Cross definitely wanted to keep Kenzo's loyal subjects away from the table of such delicate and important discussion. If you would excuse me, I will go rest. If anything happens, please call immediately. Our guest tonight is a special case, after all. Yeah, certainly, Genji-sama. Genji nodded back and went behind his screen, took off his jacket, and slowly began to relax after a day's worth of tension. The ones who just returned now, were they the children? Yes, the other relatives are having a conference in the mansion. It looked like it would drag on for quite some time. And we've got it easy. It's already this late, and there's this weather. The rest of his relatives will probably spend the night in the rooms in the mansion. Yes, probably. I'm only saying this because Genji-sama isn't around. I'm a little happy that I was sent to the guest house, I guess. Why is that? Because you can stay with them, even those bullies? Or do you have some other reason? So I have another reason. I see. And let's do our best together during that shift. I'm going on your knees, son. Just know I have to go to the children's room and play with them. Sharon hung her head apologetically, gazed at the kid again, certainly. Ken and I tried to meet her eyes and spoke certainly as he sighed. Looked like he didn't plan on indulging his sister. You can't. You were sons in that shift. Besides which, is it necessary for the furniture like us to respond to an invitation to play? You understand, right? Yes, I do understand. Man. Sharon's shoulders drooped slightly. Sherry expected that Ken kind of stickler for rules would say something like that, but she still seemed a little discouraged. As Kaden looked through a logbook, he spoke without facing Shannon. That means the children will be waiting for you. You'll have to apologize to Tommy at the night shift and won't be able to stay with them. Go and come back. Yes, I'll go apologize and come back. Shannon hurriedly stood up from her seat before her brother's mood could change and flew out the servant room after giving a quick bow. As he watched her go, Ken took a deep single breath. Genji's voice came from beyond the screen. Cannon, I will be here so you can go too. Genji sama Shannon was the only one called. It's nice to always invited. That is only because you were not there at the time. If you have been invited as well. It is good to play as a child from time to time. No such thing as that's not necessary for me. Human children may have need to play, but we are furniture. Is that so? Singing son is also furniture. Even if she pretends to be a person, it will only hurt her later. I understand that, so I try not to get too close to people, that's all. Genji did not say anything after that. After a while, he stood up and used a pot of hot water to make powdered cocoa, serving some to Ken as well. Is that for real? I had no clue. Dumbass, you're too loud. You'll wake up Mariah up. Butler was so surprised that he yelled obnoxiously and scattered his cards everywhere. His voice caused Mariah to turn over once, but she soon fell back into a deep sleep. Jessica gave him a jab, and he lowered his voice. Seriously, now that you mention it, they really did have that kind of atmosphere, didn't they? Oh, now I see. So George Iniki is. George can't be sitting you in their room. A short while ago, when Shannon came into the room, George suddenly said that he forgot to the manager and needed to go back and get it. Shannon said he would guide him, just like she had on the way to the guest house. The two of them departed together. Well, that's actually been inside of it for a while now. You know, questions about hobbies and favorite things. I've always thought it was a bit much for a passing interest. And look what happens now. Come and think of it, I get the feeling George Iniki's always been overly nice to Shannon and Shay. Now I get it. According to the weather report, it looks like we'll be at its worst tonight. It also seems that'll be all last all day tomorrow, even though it should get a little bit better. Really, then maybe the boat won't arrive till the day after tomorrow. I hope that those that interfere with your work on Monday. Alright, and the traffic will be coming beforehand, just in case I'll be sure I didn't have any place on Monday, so it's okay. I might not look like it, but I'm really the type who can plan ahead in this schedule. George put out his chest like to be proud. Compared to the calm appearance, George always had the oldest cousin. He looked at me like a little kid. Shannon chuckled at his abreast contrast. He's so surprised he'll be so well prepared as someone who'll bring prosperity to his company someday. Well, making a company prosper really is a tough job. Money isn't the only thing that's important. I learned that well when studying under my father. Making a company prosper is like owning a castle and leading your subordinates. My dad really loves reading about great leaders during the warning periods in Japan, a hobby that probably influenced by the fact that he shares Toyo team and Hideyoshi's name. Much of his philosophy on managing business comes from talking about them. Did you know Takeda Shingen, who was feared as the leader of the strongest cavalry corps of the warring period, started out the troops in its completely disarray and had the kind of strong leadership necessary to utilize them well? Is that true? That's a little unexpected. In order to unite his troops, Shingen showed his excellent leadership in many ways. For example, when his soldiers succeeded well in battle, he would immediately honor them with a medal. Normally, the kind of thing was put off until after the war, and they were all recorded once. He continued his diligently while on the field of battle, and immediately showing his appreciation for his troops' military exploits motivated them in an extremely significant fashion. Whenever one of his troops were brought down by an illness, he would be the first to rush up to them and care for them, and so on. Takeda Shingen wasn't the man who led the strongest cavalry corps in the war period. He was the person who cared the most for his troops throughout the warring period. And because he was that kind of person, a lot of his troops went along with them. Through Shannon had already heard this story several years ago, but whenever discussion of his father led to this sort of topic, George would always glow and look like he was having a great time. So Shannon changed his smile without interrupting and urging him to continue. Of course, in a capitalist world, money determines both your strength and the height of your fortifications, but you can't build up a castle sustaining a war by yourself. Such things can only be accomplished with the support of many subordinates, by borrowing their strength. After understanding this, when I look at my father's back, I realize how immature I am. I can clearly see how much competition he had to overcome before building up all he has now. George, I mutually look up to your father. I'm jealous. Sorry, that's not how I meant it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's not how I meant it either. The two of them awkwardly looked at their fate. Shannon had no parents. She had been brought up in an orphanage owned by Kenzo called the Fukuen House. Under the guidance of Kino, their honorary director of the orphanage offered members who excelled a chance for on-the-job serving experience. In their efforts met with Kenzo's approval, they'd be able to leave their orphanage and work as servants for the Ushiromiya family. This was considered to be the highest honor for those who lived in the orphanage. Servants from the Fukuen house all took names with the characters on, and then while they served. So Shannon was in her real name. The same went for Cannon. All the members of the Fukuen house were orphans. At least they were all people who had been separated from their parents under special circumstances. Because of this, orphans had been taught to think of each other as their only family. That's why it seemed so natural that both of them would Cannon could call Shannon his sister. And while both Shannon and Cannon were working in the mansion today, there were several other servants possessing the character in their names, such as Manon and Lennon, who have their own work in a rotation schedule. However, there were not many servants who stayed with the Ushiromiya family for long. It was starting for them to quit after 30 years. So compared to that Shannon, who had been working for 10 years, was a notable exception to the rule. Working as a servant for the Ushiromiya family was a heavy burden to bear, but the pay wasn't bad at all. Working for a full 3 years would earn more money than what was needed to ensure mainstream society. That was why, even though the orphans realized what a harsh task working for the Ushiromiya family was, they still hoped to be accepted. Maybe the fact that Shan managed to continue working for 10 years because to serve, she had more willpower than the other servants. Maybe she had gotten stuck working for 10 years because she didn't have the courage to say she wanted to quit. Kenzo couldn't even trust his own blood relatives, and those excellent servants save him for Fukuen house were the only ones he could rely on. Because of that, Kenzo would sometimes allow them to wear their family crest as servants under his direct control and have them work close to him. Alright, you've been working for almost 10 years though, right? You must have saved up a lot of money right now. I wonder. It's not like there's anything in particular I'd like to buy. So I don't see no crust on her anywhere. Anyway, after a few million years, you have to live off the rest of your life. So there's you've been working on this time. Was the target sum? Yes, that's right. I've been working on this time. Okay. I'm never to go outside this mansion, and I've been getting along well with Milady and the other young servants. The madame just called me sometimes, but caring for the roses and cleaning the mansion is fun. But that could be your entire life, Shannon. No, Sayo-chan. Shannon kissed her eyes downwards when she heard her real name. Shannon understood what George was trying to say and fell silent. There's the Diamond learned to continue to study even after becoming a tall, full-fledged member of society. A human's life is not as monotonous or short as we thought we were kids. All school-age kids have certain fears they can't shake. They wonder whether they'll live the rest of their lives like sleepy classes after a monotonous and boring school day, spending their time in a carefree laziness without any interesting happening until it's all over. However, life's only like that for underage students. Compared to humans' life, the time they spend as students is nothing more than a blink of the eye, a period where they break through the shell to their immaturity. The side of the shell might be a hot, suffocating, boring world, but the world beyond that shell is vast and filled with limitless possibilities. So far, your life has been trapped inside the shell called Shannon. I think you're under the mistaken impression that your life will continue like this forever. That's... Shannon could deny those words. She had been unable to harbor any clear doubts about her lifestyle. And since she hadn't had any hope or goals for treasuring herself, she lazily continued living the way she had always had. And if she asked whether this life was satisfying, she wouldn't have been able to nod. Maybe she had been intentionally averting her eyes from the truth. Without George's admonishment, she would have continued pretending not to notice her real life slipped away by being neglected. George saw is it wrong for me to continue living this way? Yeah, it is. Oh, by the way, didn't you break one of our rules just now? George immediately gave a strict answer, then broke onto a mischievous smile. She already knew what she was being shutted for, and she hung her head again, apparently embarrassed. Then he promised that you saw me when the two of us are alone. Okay, I'll play that as a promise, but if I was in order, I would have to obey it because I'm furniture. And that's in order. Yes, certainly, George son. As Jen and hung her head, her face red, said George's name again, falling this time with the sun. Yes, that's fine, Sail Jen. George demolished Shannon, no Sail, to praise her small to bravery. This short exchange alone made it clear how far back the relationship must have stretched. For a long while, the two had talked as if the weather rigid about them didn't even enter their thoughts. They talked about the many memories they built during their relationship that no one else knew about. Every once in a while, a flash of lightning would tempt them to interrupt them, but this concealing neither the roses nor the time they spent blushing at each other. That's right. I want to show you. What could it be? George, who had been speaking eloquently, suddenly started to stutter. Watching him, Shannon seemed to guess something as George timidly searched through his pocket. Stood cut in the depths of his pocket, and just like stuttering George, it took a little while to get it out. It was a very small box covered in deep blue velvet, that particular shape. Oh, she didn't mean to hit that guy, sorry. She hadn't prepared her heart something certain beforehand that this was what he'd been planning. But even so, when she actually saw it, she couldn't avoid blushing once more. George opened the small box, took it out, and he held it out for Shannon to take. I want you to take this. I am claiming something so valuable. You can't take it? No, I'm unworthy of such a thing. Say, this is a request. It's an order. Take this ring, okay? If it's in order, I cannot disobey. Yeah, that's right. Well done. She did not want to show her bright face red, timidly accepted the ring from George's hand while still staring at the ground. That ring was a simple accessory. It was a noble object. It was a noble object meant since ancient times to be offered to special women under special circumstances. Therefore, while George Cord ordered her to take it, he could not order anything beyond that. Anything beyond that would depend not in order, but on Shannon's no Sale's own will. So from here on, I'm not ordering you anymore. Sale, I want you to give me an answer about the round without using words. Do you understand? Or how should I? I won't order you any further, so this is an order. But I mean, it's letting you put it on your finger after all. If you like, you just put it on on any finger you choose. Shannon had only pretended not to know. She utterly understood what he wanted her to do, but she was taking the huge crossroads of her life. Look how late it's gotten. Let's call it a day. George started one from Shannon. I could just a bit bluntly. I could probably order you to wear on your left hand. You might be tame and independent enough to actually obey that kind of order, but I want at least a step to be done by your own will. Sayo, understand? Yes. So that's my order. I want you to think about it well tonight and show me your answer tomorrow. Shannon nodded back. Today was a culmination of the many days spent together. This moment certainly hadn't come to a surprise to Shannon. We should be getting back to the guest house soon. If we take any longer, we might get won't worry about us. Oh, I'm sorry. I remember something I didn't mention, so I have to go back to the mention. At a time like this, is it true? George staring at Shannon's face as he laughed mischievously. He definitely saw through Shannon's lie. However, when he saw how she felt, he could sort of understand that she might be so embarrassed that she wanted to be alone. So because George realized that man behind Shannon's lie, he accepted it. Shannon Shannon entered the Grinch's hall to match at the tottering gate. A mixture of exhaustion and uncertainty gave her a feeling that she couldn't easily describe. It swelled up in her chest until it felt like she was about to burst. After stopping for a second, found the servant and to take a deep breath and calm her heart. She opened the door. Inside, Godu had been ordered to take the midnight shift at the mansion today and was absorbed in one across for Puzzle magazine. He looked up for an instant to see if one of the family had come, but when he realized there was a fellow servant who approached his puzzle as if nothing had happened. Genji, someone told me to come and help you. That's so. That's a relief. I was just about to go check that mansion. It was fully locked up, but I found uneasy about leaving this room unmanned. After all, cross-out on the other videos looked as though it would continue for some quite time. They might request some tea at any moment. That's true. Then what shall we do? Shall I watch over? In case forgave me, Shannon said, but I'll ask you to patrol the mansion. I will stay here waiting the family's orders. Yes, Shannon was slightly disgusted. Even though she came in to help out as a favor, she was casually being forced to do the job of the person actually on duty. Furthermore, one of the unsteadily forced the task on her goal to return to his magazine once again became immersed in his crossword puzzle. Sharon bowed her head as took a sudden respect from her elder, then left the room to patrol the mansion. Thanks to her being a bit ticked off, she managed to suppress that floaty feeling she had been having until just now. And anyway, she couldn't let Genji can't see her looking like this. She wanted to live a little time to herself until her heart calmed down, so she maybe going on patrol wouldn't be so bad. She began to hear the tumultuous voice of the family discussion coming from the dining hall. Someone was speaking at great length, only to be interrupted by someone else's. The second person also began to speak in a very long, drawn-out fashion until yet another person interrupted. They kept on repeating, as though their displeasure was sweeping out through their voices. She had been told to go to the guest house, so it would be bad if Cross discovered her. Thinking as Jane dashed past the dining hall. Then she went along prearranged route through the dark mansion, checking all the locks were secure. She walked on the wall, checking each window. There's no humans on Rikushima other than those connected to their families, so looking up didn't really serve much of a purpose. Nor had been in the habit of locking up at the Ushiomi had a family, at least not until Natsuhi had scolded them for being so careless. Their metal fixtures in the windows were ice cold as she checked them one by one, her glow and her heart seemed to cool down. At that time, she thought she saw something twinkling across the hall. Twinkling? How could anything be twinkling through the darkness of the hall? She figured someone must have been imagining it, but she still held her breath. Grasping a curtain, she fearfully gazed down the hall. However, other than the occasional click of thunder bright in the hallway, she was unable to glimpse any flicker again. It must have been her imagination after all. Maybe her heart was so agitated that she had seen something that didn't even exist. Shannon went back to check in the windows. However, a certain unnerving memory was resurrected in the back of her mind. It was that ghost story which had been passed down amongst the servants who served the Ushiomi head family. They mentioned two different masters, one of the day and one of the night. Beatrice, the master of the night, would sometimes fly around the mansion in the form of sparkling butterflies. That was the story. When to think of it, then Kaneko would say he's seen it with his own eyes. Though he got sulky when I say he must have imagined and refused to believe him. Could it possibly be true? The War of the Thunder gave no answer. Okay. Nothing's happening. Oh, okay, here we go. Maybe. But nothing's happening again. It's not frozen, is it? Makes me wonder. No. I'm really confused right now. Is there no lines? There's supposed to be lines or anything right here? That I hit something? Or is it just going through a bunch of things? I'm so confused on what's going on right now. We're just getting like flashbacks of like all the characters. And now we're back at Beatrice. We just got an achievement. Cool. It's been a long while since I got an achievement. Okay, guys. Well, I'm gonna be ending the video here. I think it's a great stopping point now. Perfect. Looks like it's gonna be the next day. So, I'm waiting for something to happen first. The second day. Okay, guys. Well, I will see you guys later. Oh wait, I just skipped the entire thing. I apologize. I was trying to press escape and it didn't work, so I thought I had to press enter again. Whatever. I'll see you guys later.